Welcome back to La La Land on CRN Digital Talk. That's guest co-host / guest Rachel Del Mar. I'm your host, Brett Chapin. And on the phone, we have Mr. James Raday of Red Dog Squadron. Hey, James. Hey, James.
Life is good. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for calling in so much. We've talked a little bit about Red Dog Squadron and on the show, and you're one of the founding members. Is that right?
Yes. Me and another dude with amazing hair named Brad Rader started this little engine that hopefully could and will continue to can back in the early 2000s after going to college in NYU, migrating west, and quickly realizing that it was going to be very important that we stay close to our roots, privilege our love for the boards, whilst life became strange and curious with all of these film and television landscapes that we had to negotiate.
Yeah, well, you guys are doing something different. You're doing it on a stage rather than a film and television set.
Yeah, I've been pretty lucky myself, in order, to stay employed and be able to pay my bills using television and film as a medium. So it's pretty, it's pretty easy to you kind of just want to make a movement. You want to remind people that even though we live in an industry town, our actual art form didn't start with a camera, and it's baby steps at a time. But having your own company at least enables you to to have a voice, to find people like Rachel, who care enough and who are passionate enough about theater, to choose 99-seat equity productions over, eating and paying their electric bills.
It's true.
Yes.
And it's that. That's what Red Dog was founded on, and that's kind of what keeps our blood going.
Excellent. Is there something for you that sets Red Dog apart from maybe other theater ensembles? Something that you guys do differently?
Well, first, I certainly think there's a lot of really strong ensembles in Los Angeles.
Yes.
I think you have to know where to look, and you have to be motivated. But there's good stuff going on all over this town. I think we sort of skew towards development, original material, giving a voice to writers who maybe never had a voice before. We tend to not give ourselves deadlines, which is why we've done a lot less shows than other companies that have been around for as long as we have. So we sort of operate under the notion that, until we find something that kind of feels like you can move mountains with, just keep the development process going, do readings, read a lot of stuff, but don't feel obligated to put up something that is less than stellar, because like I said, if you try to change a culture of appreciating theater in a town where it's not as appreciated as it should be, you don't want to falter and put the wrong product on the stage. So
absolutely,
it's really just about waiting until you feel absolutely certain, and then putting your best foot forward, and that's tricky because we do original material, which means we have to find it, and there's a lot of stuff out there, but not all of it is great, and we don't have a staff of the Mark Taper Forum or the Geffen. Like, we're depending on ourselves and and other people that are willing to sort of give us the time, whose taste we also trust, to find these little gems, and that takes a long time. So, it's, on the one hand, it's a little frustrating because we feel like, it would be great to be sort of a repertory company that had a season that, that you could guarantee you were going to see 3 or 4 Red Dog shows a year, but at the same time, we really want to sort of preserve this idea that when you see a Red Dog show, that it's going to be visceral, it's going to be powerful, it's going to make you think, and it's not going to be, you're not going to be disappointed. You're not going to be done talking about the play, before the appetizers come.
Yeah, I find that really interesting that you guys don't have deadlines. That gives you a lot of artistic freedom. I think that's great. Well, so why is it, do you think, because you made an interesting statement a second ago, you think that theater in LA is maybe not appreciated so much as it should be? Why do you think that is, and what do you think that we can do to maybe improve upon that?
Well, it's no secret that that LA is a town that was sort of founded and built around the film industry.
Mm-hmm.
Most people that live here are transient. Most people migrate here, and they don't do it, to become stars of the stage. It's not like people who move to New York with a dream of being on Broadway. People move to LA to work in front of the camera, and that's
right.
That's sort of that's the goal, and that's the direction that everybody's moving. And I think, unfortunately, just from a performer's standpoint, a lot of times, you'll find actors or actresses saying, "Well, I can't afford to stop and do a play. I can't put that much of my time and energy into doing theater because of the rat race that I'm a part of, and how difficult it is to get a job.
It's a huge commitment.
Actually pays. Like, I got to give everything I have towards, trying to get a gig on a TV show or trying to get a part in a movie.
Yeah.
And you in terms of doing good theater, it kind of starts with the culture of your performers. I mean, you can only blame so much on the audience or the lack thereof or the lack of interest, because you got to also generate that interest. And the way you generate that interest is by putting exciting pieces up with exciting people that the people are curious about seeing. So it's kind of a chicken and the egg sort of thing. But I think the best thing that a company like ours or the Dahlia or Furious or any of these companies that I think are doing really exciting work can do is make a splash. Put up something that gets people talking. Put up something that gets a little bit of media coverage.
Do something that's worthwhile, and that's
do something that's worthwhile that people are going to talk about, so that on Thursday night, when you don't have plans, you choose to go see that play that everybody's been talking about instead of Contraband.
Absolutely.
With Mark Wahlberg.
More theater, less contraband.
Probably going to be decent at best.
Yes. And the experience of going to theater rather than going to a film is just completely different. We got a call on the line. We've got Danny in Atlanta with a question for you, James. Hey, Danny. Hey, Danny.
Hey, I'm here.
Hey, thanks for calling.
Yes, I know that the location for this AFT is very unique and cool and interesting. I want to know what went into the process for choosing that one.
Well, it's a good question. We've been talking for a while about wanting to do something in a non-traditional space. Brad and I both went to the experimental theater wing at NYU, where everything was non-traditional and usually nude. And
James, I'm sorry to interrupt you. I hate it when this happens. We have to go to commercial. James, can you hang on for one more segment? And Danny, can you hang on for one more segment?
Sure.
Absolutely.
Okay, guys. We'll talk to you in a second. We'll be back on La La Land today with Brett and Rachel Del Mar on CRN Digital Talk.
Are you an inventor?